Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. I can start with this one. In fact, before I jump into this one, I want to mention that wickedstocks.com on Tuesday put out a new stock pick. We do 2 a week. Tuesdays was on NetEase Incorporated, a Chinese internet stock, large cap stock, on the precipice of a big signal that could play out through the second quarter. We give all the specific conditions for that signal in the video itself. You can see it for free by going to wickedstocks.com and taking advantage of our 5-day free trial, where you'll also get daily triple Q, daily SPY analysis, weekly Apple stock analysis, etc., etc. So go to wickedstocks.com, check out the NetEase stock pick. You'll also get our stock pick that's coming out on Thursday. And last week's, they're all relevant still, the last few weeks. So check it out. Just go to wickedstocks.com. That's all I am going to say for now. 109.22 channel bottom on the daily chart. We have a similar, identical structure really on the weekly chart at 109.44. Now on the daily chart, I'm going with that today as our, how should I put this? If we were to close below 109.22 by a full 1% margin, that would be 108.13. And yes, if we close there, 108.13 or lower today, we do enter a sell signal through the rest of the week anyway. There is the possibility with a spike in volatility that we could fall to 98.30 by Friday's close. If we close today 108.13 or lower, which is to say 1% below 109.22, not 1% below 109.44. So 108.13 settlement is our down pivot through the rest of the week. We could see 98.30 perhaps by Friday's close. And then overall, of course, if we close the week below the 109.44 formation, the same exact formation on the weekly chart by the 1% margin of 108.35, we enter a significant longer term sell signal. Longer term, really more like midterm, 2 to 3 months, expecting 78.54. That could be much quicker. That could be within 3 to 5 weeks perhaps, but I think 2 to 3 months is kind of the time horizon that you can wrap your mind around as a likelihood. 78.54 can absorb selling through the rest of the year. So if we close at 108.13 or lower, you may consider reaching for perhaps 80 strike out of the money puts that don't expire. I'd go 6 months out on that expiration, given the 2 to 3 month time I think it would take to get down there. But we can continue with the downside here. There is an extreme channel bottom in reach today. If we break or open perhaps below 109.22. We came back nicely though. I'm going to walk backwards just a little bit. Monday we certainly broke the channel bottom, but we did not close below it by a 1% margin. These 1% margins are important. I like to use the analogy of a rubber band. The rubber band certainly stretches, but it snaps with a settlement below that structure by a full 1% margin. Today's level is 108.13. And if we happen to, there is the possibility of breaking 108.13 would allow 102.33 today. And if we close at 108.13 or lower today, we could see 98.30 tomorrow. This descending channel bottom able to contain selling through the rest of the week. But as I said, if we then close the week itself below the 109.44 structure by a 1% margin, 78.54 becomes our next big picture objective. Until then, assuming we close at or above 109.22, assuming we do not throw off that sell signal with the conditions that I've already mentioned, this market remains in reach of the low 130s, 133.22 to 134.01 over the next 3 to 5 weeks or so. And on the way up, of course, today we've got 114.03. 114.03 is a 2-week descending channel top that can contain today's highs. And I'll say that if we close above 114.03, we have a good low for the week. And this could actually be your longer term buy signal into the low 130s within 2 to 3 weeks or so of closing above 114.03. But, you know, the truth is very stair-step. We also have 121.93. So I'm just going to say that closing above 114.03, we've got a good low for the week. Then anticipating 121.93 within several days, where we can also top out on a daily basis. I want to say this is almost worth weekly 3-star resistance, but just because these horizontal structures, they just have more meaning than the steeply descending ones. And, it does go back almost a full month, this 121.93 formation. So, I may bump this up to 3 stars. It is considered a 2 to 3 day target if we close today above 114.03. I think if you put it all in proper context, and that's really what you're always trying to do here, is that after we've tested the long-term channel bottom, and we've tested it this week for sure, that is at 109.44. After testing it, you must respect this market's ability to move northward aggressively. That comes into play clearly, following the testing of it. But it is the 114.03 level that is our next upward pivot point. And following the test of long-term support, you can make a case for 134.01 by the end of April with a settlement today above 114.03. But if you're kind of the day trader, 3 to 5 day swing trader, what you see here are several levels that are worth trading. I wouldn't want to sell 114.03 short. I'd be reluctant to, unless you're an aggressive intraday trader. But the 3 to 5 day, no, I'm not interested in that. Having come off of long-term support at 109.22, which I think we're in the midst of doing, 114.03 should be more of a profit-taking area if you're long, say, from 109.22, or at least taking some profits. And if we close above 114.03, that is a go-long strategy through the rest of the week. 121.93 likely within several days. I'm going to say that continued settlements at or above 109.22, 121.93 likely by the end of next week, 134.01 by the end of April. It's about as simple as that. Is there anything else to say? I don't think so. Anything I say beyond what I already have would be repetitious, and you can always rewind for that, right? I will be back tomorrow, of course, with Thursday's NVIDIA report, and you have a fantastic day.